Vírus 28, written by Lockhart 1220, narrated by Ghost Narrator. Tuesday, March 16th, 2021. My name is Todd Marston. I'm a collector of sorts. My name is Todd Marston. I'm a collector of sorts, collecting old bullet casings from each country I visit and showcase them in my museum. I found some strange trinkets over the years, but that was nothing compared to what I found in the Czech Republic. I was camping in the wilderness, actively searching for some bullet casings to add to my collection. I found a few during the first few days out there, until I found what looked to be an old barn. It was broken down all to hell, so who knows what it could have been. But it didn't house any animals. I was maybe about 73 kilometers away from civilization. Transporting animals here would be unlikely, especially with the trees in the area. I searched the grounds with my metal detector and found some simple things like pins or trash, but my biggest find was an old metal box dug deep into the soil. I recovered it and took it back to my camp, shocked at what was inside. I will share with you what I found, but I have to say, the Czech government wasn't involved at all with this. The box contained 2 black and white photos of men, experiment notes, and doodles of something unknown. It's all in Czech, but I tried my best to translate it with a buddy of mine. Here's what it says. Page 1. April 4th, 1950. A week ago, we were given a specimen that was infected with a virus we named Virus 28. A brown, long-eared bat was found in the town square harassing townspeople with minor bites and scrapes. The bat had appeared to have created a large gash on its chest with its claws, being caught and transported to the vet only to be given to my partner and me to look over. Upon examining its blood and saliva samples, we found an unidentified virus that didn't match those of present-day discoveries or any records in the past. The bat seemed to have died the day after examining its blood, passing from self-mutilation of the face, chest, and wings, which caused the animal to bleed out. My partner improperly disposed of the carcass, though we thought nothing of it at the time. My partners soon came up to me and confessed they've been having dreams of deer. White-tailed bucks are what they told me. It was quite unusual, so I contained him in a special box we've built in case of scenarios like this. But I would never have thought this would happen to my partner. It could be nothing but recurring dream is what they say, but with our recent discovery of Virus 28, what's to say that's not affecting their dream pattern too? April 7th, 1950. Nothing much happened after containment. The dreams continued as normal though, still on the topic of deer, until last night. My partner explained that they were greeted by a deer who spoke in tongues. Unable to translate such a thing, but they could see pointed teeth within the buck's mouth. Its hoofs looked more like human hands, but the dead grass covered the majority of it, so it was unclear. Possibly their brain playing tricks on them, though the experience was most certainly uncommon and strange. The containment chamber consists of books for entertainment, a desk, a toilet, and a bed. I deliver them food every few hours to eat, which would be consumed in a normal amount of time. Nothing unordinary besides the dreams and progressing nightmares. I will still overlook these experiments to its fullest and document my findings on Virus 28. The government shall not know about this, not yet anyway. Page 2, April 10th, 1950. The subject has been experiencing more frequent nightmares. I have been keeping a catalogue of every detail they told me of each night's dreams. Nightmare 1. Subject dreamed of a hunter skinning a fawn, mangling its tiny body as the animal was still awake and conscious in the whole event. The subject could do nothing but watch as if they weren't even there physically, but invisible to the characters within the dream. Nightmare 2. Subject dreamt of the bones of the fawn they witnessed last night, walking about the forest as if nothing happened, chewing on grass tufts as the click-clacking of bones echoed through the empty, dark forest. Bones arose from the soft soil of the surface, rattling and shaking as the fawn walked by, collecting the bones as if they were paper clips to a magnet, adding to the skeletal structure of the animal. The subject was once again unable to move or interact with the environment, watching as the amalgamation of bones disappeared into the darkness of the forest. The subject stood at the feet of a monster, a tall being reaching up to 25 feet, 53 feet long, entirely made up of bone and old skin tissue, seemingly from different organisms. The subject could identify some of the bones and tissue on the creature, ranging from hippo, alligator, rex, owl, hyenodon bones and skin from a jaguar, wolf, sheep, whale, and more, though they can't identify them all. The beast's head was made up of a deer skull, antlers of a caribou, and the bottom jaw of a lion with many unidentified teeth. Some bones also consist of humans, though unidentifiable. The beast had a long neck, a thick body with 3 sets of legs, 2 arms, and a long tail that ended with a point. A strange monster at that, though. This could be the subject's hyperactive mind or a result of Virus 28. The subject is currently awake and paranoid because of their dreams. Eating patterns have been altered. The subject now barely touches their food. Rather, they toss the tray aside, creating a mess within their chamber. Page 3. April 12, 1950. The subject appears to be experiencing hallucinations of the monster, visions of which I cannot see, but they can. They saw bugs, animals, and humans surrounding the chamber, filling the room, watching them like they were the star of the show. They explained how the creatures have physical wounds upon their bodies. A woman with a hole over her forehead, a man whose skin was charred and flaky, a male worker whose body was mangled as if tossed into a machine and ground into a fleshy mess. Many other humans filled the room, though the animals looked much worse. Lions who clawed at their bodies, horses that broke their necks and limbs, even bats who smashed their heads open or crawled at themselves just like the bat we found a few weeks ago. Insects were also in the room, not looking as bad with their limbs or wings being ripped from their bodies, or crushed by something heavy, be it a foot or a rock. The subject has been pacing their chamber for hours now, mumbling in tongues under their breath. Looking up at what might be the monster of bones they told me about in their dreams. After some research, I hypothesized that the virus is one of a kind, or extremely rare due to the limited or zero reports of this happening, created 65 million years ago when the meteor crashed into the Earth and killed the dinosaurs. This virus infects and controls living organisms till death, leaping to another ideal host, though the motives are still unclear, or any physical evidence of the appearance of this creature. Page 4. I woke up to screaming. Lately I've been sleeping in my lab to keep an eye on my partner. It's 3:25 a.m. and upon looking into the chamber I saw blood. They had dug their nails into their skin and tore off flesh and meat. Their eyes chewed and spat on the floor as words and drawings covered the walls, painted in what seems to be the subject's blood. Rolling on the floor, thrashing about as they clawed at their skin, bleeding everywhere, staining the concrete floor. I couldn't do a thing. Who knows what the subject can do to me, let alone the virus? So I watched for hours on end until they finally died, suffocated on their blood after they had bitten off their tongue. Tonight I'll clean the chamber and dispose of the body. They will be missed. Ripped note. People won't believe what I've just witnessed in my time on this experiment. Things I, too, didn't believe. But I hope that my research helps those who are infected. But nobody should ever know of such a thing yet. I will bury my papers. The world is better off not knowing about this monster. For I, too, have dreams of a deer.